Good morning. Thank you all. For those of you who have turned out on a gloomy mid-December day, I know there may be some people watching from home who wanted to be physically present this morning but found black ice and said no, and glad you're safe. And I have something to say to that. It's really strange. Unitarian Universalists, if it's sunny out, sometimes have trouble getting to church. But if it's really bad weather, it's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get to church. And what I try to tell people is that we love seeing you here. And if trying to get here in bad weather means we will never see you again, no. We'd rather see you next week and all the weeks following. So yeah, play it safe whenever the weather is iffy where you are. And we have, you live at different elevations in this county and different areas. We never know exactly what the conditions are on your roads, on your way here. I ask Christine Smith to come forward. We have a special presentation this morning.
This rose is in honor of Bob Rowe, who passed away last Sunday. He was a dear friend. He was a member of UU for a long time, and he wanted this read. It was in his obituary. He died with a huge debt of gratitude to lawyers who practiced in Mississippi in the 1960s and who are still fighting for racial equality. If his life stood for anything, it was equal justice under the law and abolishing racial discrimination. This is how he wanted to be remembered. But he was also the best friend and the loving husband of Jane Rowe, who's singing in our choir as a tenor today.
Thank you. We will be lighting the Advent candles in a moment. No, not yet, but just giving you fair warning. Later in this service, you heard a little bit of the music for Advent. I wanted to say, I did not grow up with Advent. I went to a rather atheistic, humanistic, Unitarian Universalist congregation growing up. We didn't do a whole lot of ceremonial things. Then I went to a Quaker college in which they were quite sure we were not going to do ceremonial things. And so I'm learning about some of the ceremonies that people have experienced growing up. In honor of this particular Sunday, which is when we light the pink or rose-colored candle, I wore a pink or rose-colored tie. Because I have no proper vestments for the season, because Unitarians and Universalists pretty much were grounded in the pre-500 AD period, and that was before Advent became a season. It was only after 500 or so that it became a observance like Lent. And so, just to announce, each of us comes from different paths. One of the largest growing groups in the United States right now is none of the above. Folks who have never experienced any particular tradition. So those of you who are from a tradition and find that I am not dressed the way you would like, and those of you who come from a different tradition and have no clue how to sit through a church service, we will make it through together. We really will. I just want to say that as part of announcements this morning. We honor the diversity. Solstice service is coming up at UUTC this Friday at 5:30 p.m. This particular sign is wrong. The other one is correct. Yeah, there you go. Instant change there. The original time, don't be confused by it. You'll get here an hour early. You'll find everybody setting up and all of that. But the idea is to start in darkness around the fire ring and enjoy the entire time together. I hope you will love it. Sorry, for those of you who are organizing it, I'm sorry I cannot make it this year. I am singing in a concert at that evening. So, but I hope others will be here. Super Sunday is next week. We hope that you'll sign up to bring a soup. The sign-up sheet is at the counter. I have already heard that we have a baby Jesus for Christmas Eve. Yay, Alice. Keep having grandchildren and at regular intervals. And we will have a baby Jesus. And yes, so we have a baby Jesus. The multi-generational service is at 4:30 on Christmas Eve. We are glad to have other family involvement. And Kevin and Tricia are reaching out to some families to say, hey, can your child do a reading? And we have at times also included adults as readers in the multi-generational service. So let me know if you are interested. Thank you. Today is something of a somber time in remembering that yesterday was the anniversary of the Sandy Hook school shootings in Newtown, Connecticut, my hometown. To imagine all the children who were in lockdown that day, including my little cousins in the school system, that was 14 years ago. All of those children are college or armed forces or off into learning trades or whatever else, those who survived through that day. But we still remember that day. Going back, and I think appropriate to recognize with Lackey's Rose here, the Montgomery bus boycott was at this time period in 1956. So an anniversary of that. Dinner for Two anywhere in the world. Ticket sales continue. If you haven't already, please get a pack of tickets to sell. And I have a little note about security. Scammers are at it again. I know I've been getting all sorts of messages saying, hey, we have a package for you, but you have to tell us lots of information in order to get it. I'm like, no, report is junk. And there are some scammers out there pretending to be UTC folks and asking for things. Hey, can you give me the name and address of somebody? Hey, can you? Well, when you get an email or a message, double check that it's from the real address, from the person you know. Maybe check up with that person and say, are you really stranded on the side of the road and need me to go buy $500 gift cards for you? We're doing updates to our website as well and some other things, knowing that the scammers are just doubling down. That's it for the announcements I was prepared to read. There's always more going on in this place. Keep up with the news, the Friday updates that go out, our calendar, all sorts of places to learn information. Now I ask you to turn to one another in respect to the worth and dignity of each of you.
We will be lighting the chalice lighting, and the words will be up on the screen, words of summer Abeete. Summer, whose last name is pronounced Abeete, is a UU Muslim of Iraqi descent who is on the Unitarian Universalist Association staff. She has worked within indigenous communities and communities of color for equity in education. Increasing numbers of students of color who enter into universities and developing youth leaders. Summer has been playing the Arabic drum professionally since the age of 12 and has shared her gifts in worship, concerts, and social justice venues most of her life. Summer explores the intersectionality between speaking prophetically, making music, healing spirits, and doing social justice work, all while reflecting on Islam as a theology of liberation. And now the chalice reading. In betwixt and in between, we move in the liminal spaces that show shades of what can come, what can be. Chalice as a symbol of courage to move into that time of this and that, and not this and not that, with patience and faith and love and hope that this time will pass, like the sun that moves in between rising and setting, reminding us that beauty resounds in betwixt and in between.
This is the time where we light our candles of joy and sorrow, bringing into this room something of those things on our hearts, on the hearts of those in the room with us, or perhaps those who could not make it to be with us. I asked to start with a silent candle for someone adjusting to a new medical diagnosis. And Janet Benway asks for a candle for prayers for her brother, Henry Muller, who has had 4 surgeries on his brain. Lily Lukens asked for a candle for her friend Patty, who we've had on the list a few weeks ago, who has declined quickly and will leave this planet soon, it seems. Please pray for an easy exit surrounded by love and kindness. She's the first of my closest friends to leave this realm. And this is a joyful candle of congratulations and thank you to all the singers in the Transylvania Choral Society for an extraordinary concert on Thursday. And we'll light one for those things not yet shared, maybe still held by the folks here in this room or those folks online. Let's remember to listen during coffee hour or any time we meet and greet one another and hear more about each other's lives and the joys and the sorrows that we may share them. Thank you.
The opening words are by Rebecca Savage. Let beauty in. Let beauty in like waves lapping on the shore, covering the beach and soaking the sand like an embrace. Let beauty in. Let beauty in like the first sunshine after a cloudy day, filling hearts and homes with a radiance that brings delight. Let beauty in. Let beauty in like a wrapped gift from the Spirit of life herself as she offers to us, behold what creation can do. Behold, this is love made real that you can touch, taste, and smell all around you. May all that is pleasing and exquisite be nurtured here in our time of worship. May the magnificent pull towards all that is divinely pleasing hold us close. May the sacred pulse within the space as we welcome in beauty.
I will light the Advent candles now.
Oh, I forget about that, sorry.
That's all right. We only do this in December.
I saw that. Righty.
Let me get this lighter instead. I'm going to get it from up here because we're getting taller and taller. Our first week, we lit the candle of hope. And the second week, of peace. And now in the third week, the candle that is lightened and brightened by joy in anticipation.
Our opening hymn is 389, Gathered Here. All who wish to stand may. It will be on the screen.
Now, I'll explain a little bit of this because it's around. We're going to have help. The choir is going to help us.
Send a strong delegation over to that part over there.
Yeah, you're group one. Group one over here. So we're going to hear it through. We're going to sing it all the way, everybody together once, and we're going to have the choir out with us to do section 1, section 2, section 3, and we'll roll through that a couple of times, and then we'll signal when we're ending. Sound good?
Yes, we will. All together first, and then 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're being Trinitarian, John.
Play it through, please. Not quite that fast. gonna, no.
We already did it, John. We already did it. We did it along with the choir.
That was the best you get.
We should do it again.
I was gonna ask who's running this show, but I guess that's not a question.
Good job, guys.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name's Kevin, and I get to work with the kids here. And we don't have any this morning, but I think they're all resting up because 2 days ago on Friday, we had our Santa's workshop, and we were full of kids, had a lot of fun, and our own Travers Thurman was here doing a juggling show at the end of it that had the kids jumping out of their seats. It was quite a lot of fun. Well, this morning for our words of wisdom, we're using the book Zen Shorts by John J. Muth. And it's a Caldecott Honor book, and it's a wonderful book about a panda named Stillwater who uses short Zen stories to teach a family that has 3 kids. And we're using one of the vignettes in it where the youngest child, named Carl, comes to visit Stillwater and to talk about problems that he's struggling with. And I just realized I left the page turner over here. Just a minute. Zen Shorts. Well, Carl, the littlest boy in the family, went to visit Stillwater the panda. Michael says I couldn't bring over our stuff to go swimming. I'm mad at Michael. He's always telling me what to do. So I brought everything. Said Stillwater. It's a little pool, and I don't know if all those toys will fit. Let's see, said Carl. Okay, let's see, said Stillwater. Stillwater looked at the pool. The things can go swimming, but we can't. I brought too much stuff, said Carl. That's okay, said Stillwater. I'll help you carry it home later. Why does Michael always have to tell me what to do, said Carl. If he were here, I'd climb up really high, and I'd jump on him like this, and I would do a big splash like this. Later, Carl and Stillwater had tea. Carl, said Stillwater, you spent the whole day being angry with Michael. Did you notice how much fun we had together? Carl watched the steam rise from his cup and thought about this. Oops, excuse me. I'm sorry I brought all this stuff, said Carl. You don't need to be sorry, said Stillwater. Right now, you just need to carry it and hold on, and we'll head home together. When they got home, Stillwater the panda asked, Do you think you carried it long enough, Carl? Carl said, yes. Good, said Stillwater. Then you have learned the lesson. You see, in this time of presents, during this December month, we're trying to practice the presence of love and togetherness, and to remember we don't need to carry all the weight of the past, all of our anger, all of our grievances. And if we can somehow learn to let those go and to put them down, then we can be open to each other. So thank you.
And thank you, Kevin. I'm glad to hear the Friday event went well and we had many kids present to us. This is the time in the service in which we reinforce the habit, the attitude of gratitude, of recognizing something of our treasure being of importance to others, not just something we hold on to. This is a season of anticipation, a great gift coming to us. This is a season in which we do a lot of buying for presents or cards or other things for others. Maybe writing checks of donations to the nonprofits that we like to support annually. Whatever it is that helps you remember that what you have could be important to others. The basket collects the money for the good of this congregation and our presence right here in this space. The ability to turn on the lights and the heat and have us here and have the fun confusion that we have of who's leading the hymn or not. This is the money that we give to make things keep running. But then there's also the envelope inside of that basket for something special for what we voted to give away. This month's organization is the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. It advances human rights, and social justice, and empowerment. Projects near and far and all around the world. We will now gratefully receive the morning offering. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Michael. What is given in love, we receive with great joy. Thank you. Bleak midwinter helped us enter into this time of prayer already. Thank you. Thank you so much, Carlene. But in whatever ways you further center yourselves, this is the time for meditation and prayer. Spirit of love and life, here in this bleak midwinter time, on this drippy gray day, we see the candle before us lit for joy, and we may feel it or may not. Spirit of love and life, may we be present to the joys of the things that are indeed all around us, even if not so loudly proclaimed as they might be on a sunny day. The joys of being with one another, the wonder of each thing that we might see before us in a new way, with new perspectives. Spirit of love and life, we know that there are people in this congregation adjusting to new physical conditions, perhaps facing new medical diagnoses, and our hearts go out and our prayers go out broadly. We know very specifically this week that we are praying for Henry Muller, Janet's brother, who's had so many brain surgeries. We know that we're praying in particularly for Louis Lucan's friend Patty, who is going downhill, and we pray for an easy exit and send our love and kindness. In this time of clamor, of all the jingle bells and concerts, of all the music, may we remember the music of our hearts, the sound of the breath of the person next to us, the beating of our hearts reminding us of life and love and connection. And yes, joys of being able to be together, joys of the music given to us and the ability for those of us who do to make music in this season. Thank yous to the Transylvania Choral Society and all the singing groups who have provided opportunities for that particular style of joy and sharing. Thank you to those who work in our family ministries to provide the workshops for the children, for a brief respite for the parents in a busy season, for the chance of those who share their skills of juggling, whatever it may be. And with a focus on this rose on our altar, Spirit of love and life, for all who we have missed, and most particularly today, for missing Lackey in this world, may we remember the ways in which each person in our life has made a contribution to this world. May we live up to the best that we have learned from them. These and the prayers of our hearts we hold now in the silence. We pray in the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten. We pray in the names of all the helpers of humankind. Blessed be. Amen. That was a beautiful choice, John, for that Ukrainian Christmas song. Thank you. I'm going to tell you more about the author of the reading. Here, now with the microphone on, I'll tell you more about the author of the reading than the actual reading itself. You'll notice at the beginning of the service, we had a nice long introduction from the person in our, and I'm gonna try to read it right. You're right, it's a challenge. Summer Elbiati, is that better? Elbiati was the writer of our chalice lighting from her thinking about Islam and her traditions, being from Iraqi descent. And we do this because it makes present in the room different voices, making explicit the presence of different voices and perspectives that just glancing we might not know. And so every once in a while you'll hear us introduce a speaker. So as I said, I'm going to read from, summarizing just briefly from Wikipedia about Mozai or Mozai. This is from our hymn book, so it was put in there decades ago, more than 30 years ago when that hymn book was developed. And Mozai's personal name was Modi, was a Chinese philosopher, logician, and founder of the Maoist school of thought, making him one of the most important figures of the Warring States period in China, from 475 to 221 BCE. Born in what is now Tsingtao, Shandong, Mozai and his followers argued strongly against both Confucianism and Taoism. Our story today was from Taoism, with a philosophy emphasizing universal love, social order, the will of heaven, sharing, and honoring the worthy. Mozai tried to replace what he considered to be the long-entrenched Chinese ideal of strong attachments to family and clan structures with the concept of impartial caring or universal love. I thought, ooh, universal love, this is fitting our universalism. So, here is the reading. When all the people of the world love, then the strong will not overpower the weak, the many will not oppress the few, the wealthy will not mock the poor, the honored will not disdain the humble, and the cunning will not deceive the simple. Our sermon today is on living love through the practice of presence. And one of the simplest ways of knowing where am I? A piece of advice was given to me. Look at your feet. That's where you are. Now, there are other ways. I remember Christy and I were advised in our wedding to be present in our wedding to one another, not be all nervous, and, well, we were all nervous and excited and everything, but we were advised, take a deep breath, try to feel the way the ground is supporting you, to feel the energy and the connection and the grounding. So look at your feet. Feel the ground supporting you. Be present for even just a moment. Even in the most nervous or exciting times, you can see where you are and you can feel a grounding. That's important. The grounding and the presence that our reading suggests is one of grounding in an attitude of universal love, of connection to others. So once you've checked out yourself and are in the room, you can also notice the others around you. You can, in fact, in the midst of everything going on, go over and say, John, you are the music leader, and I upset you. But I did. Yes, he did. I did. And I recognize that. And I'm sorry. I am sorry, because you had a concept of it, and I absconded with it.
You are my fearless leader, and I will follow you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, John and I really do have a good partnership through all of this. And the choir knows how confused we were about how we were going to do the hymn this morning. And so even with good teamwork, and we both knew where we were this morning.
Well, at least I did.
You knew where you were. There you go. when you are present and you know where you are, when you listen to the wisdom of universal love, when you are able to hear the people around you, their breathing, what they're doing, being present means being able to put yourself in better tune with those around you. Now, there's a whole lot in life that you should not be well adjusted to. Yes? Right. Yes. But there are many things in which you can make sure you are not one of those folks who feels particularly worthy and not recognize others. You can do things to help yourself be grounded and present. Those are just a few simple steps, but oftentimes they are the beginning of what helps make our society be able to support so many good things. Being present is something that our young boy in the story with the panda was not. The entire time of playing and bouncing, toys and water and camaraderie. Stillwater at the end says, "Did you even notice as you were complaining about your friend? Did you even notice how much fun we had this day?" Hard sometimes. What is it in that Zen message that we need to let go of what we're carrying if it is preventing us from being in the present? Where are we now? We are not in the argument with our friend. We are here. We are not in the situation that we are still thinking and rethinking and trying to say, there must have been a better way. I'm sure I would come out with the exact retort that I should have said at the time. But how are we present now, here? Thich Nhat Hanh had a quote, I think it's in our Soul Matters packet, I think that's where I pulled it from, said, "The miracle is not to walk on water. The miracle is to walk on the green earth in the present moment." That's the miracle. To actually be in the moment is the miracle. To be able to walk through our environment and be present to it. Our Soul Matters packet also had this in the preface. In the first page, it said, just in a little excerpt of it, "Haven't we all felt that when we're fully present, the most powerful presences emerge? Pay attention to your child, and slowly and mysteriously, a confidence and unique self reveals itself. Pay attention to the flow of your breathing, or the flow of the ocean, and something bigger than yourself enters the scene. Look for a long time at a single tree or a flower, and eventually it presents itself to you as a world in and unto itself." The underlying message here is that the world is shot through with unnoticed gifts and grace. It's a message perfectly fit for this holiday month that so often celebrates presence over presence, which I preached on last week. In the face of commercials and billboards, it tells us our lives will finally be complete if we stuff them with a few more shiny plastic objects or gadgets. Our spiritual traditions come around and remind us that our lives are already whole and home. And their message is the greatest gift of the holidays is noticing the many gifts that have been sitting there all along. Notice what we got. Notice what's there all along. when we say to someone, my thoughts are with you, and they feel it as true, the sense of isolation, of being, I know I'm here, I'm here, but then knowing I'm here and so is someone else, is incredibly empowering, reassuring. In the most tumultuous of times, in the sadness, in the sickness, someone, my thoughts are with you, my heart goes out to you, my prayers are with you, in whatever way it's phrased, as long as it comes across to the other person, that they know that this is a real statement. You have given yourself in a moment for that person to feel someone is present to them. This is the season as well in which times gone by, people took to bonfires and other things to say, we feel the sun slipping away and we need it. We need the warmth. We need to get out of this gray. We need to feel within us something of the reminder of what's out there. In betwixt and in between, we move in the liminal spaces that show shades of what can become, what can be. This is how we lit our chalice this morning. In the sense of Advent, of the anticipation of this season, I read online something that a Soul Matters colleague pointed out from Vance Morgan online from December of 2018, a reflection on the season, a reflection on this whole baby in a manger story of being God in this world. And what I read online from Vance Morgan was that there was a survey that showed Christians thought Easter was more important theologically than Christmas. Something like 3/4 of those surveyed. But the author argued that they got it wrong. That incarnation, the divine love taking on skin and bones and muscle, was far more important. In part, I agree. Unitarian Universalists might not have answered the way others do, maybe because if we believe in love with a capital L flows through us all, we can put our hearts and muscle and voice and presence in the world with Jesus as an example. Being present in the world. Love, being present in the world. I believe that this season is an easier one for Unitarian Universalists theologically than many others who find Easter to be more their focus. I believe that this season of saying yes in anticipation of a new life to come among us, yes to the idea of love and hope and peace and joy, yes to the idea that there is something divine and wonderful, wondrous, if only we were present enough to notice it. This is our season. This is our message. Now, when you are being real to one another, you're not faking showing up, although a good way to practice is to fake it at first. To sit quietly and be with someone and say, I'm here. Talk to me if you want. And you may, in fact, be thinking of your laundry needing to be done or what you're going to pick up on Ingalls on the way home. But if you are faking it well enough, the other person may eventually say, I just need to hold someone's hand. And you're there. And that task list that you have has gone away. You faked it enough to say, oh, yes, I am here. There may be presence a presence that comes through routines and rituals that are part of this season. I set up our fake Christmas tree and made sure the lights are on and started fluffing out the branches that always get compressed when I put them back in the shipping box every year. And we'll put up ornaments, and our ornaments are, many of them, hand-me-downs, so that we have a certain angel that reminds us of Christy's grandmother that goes at the top. And we have a few ornaments that were passed along from my grandmother, or ornaments that I had made for my relatives that when they passed away came back, or the ones that the kids made when they were little. There's a certain extent to which the rituals in which we see and place the objects bring us back in our minds to be present, or to feel the presence of those who have helped us know we were grounded in the world. Find those things. There are others who are being very present in the world in this season as well. I know that when it comes time for people to take on shifts who are essential workers, that oftentimes it's the Jewish folks in society who step up and say, you got it. You go ahead and have your Christmas dinner. I will be on that shift. I'm noticing the people who say, I'll step up. I'll work. I'll be an usher. I'll be present in some way so that others can enjoy something of this season and what's special to them religiously. I enjoy it when I get invitations as well. The Brevard Jewish community sent out an invitation and asked if I wanted to come to their Hanukkah observance. We have a long-running relationship in this congregation with people of different faiths in the community, and a respect and cooperation, as does the Church of the Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, where they will be holding their Hanukkah meal, I think, or concert. When people can be present to you, you may in fact turn to them and say, can I do something for you? Is there a time in which I can show up for you? I'm going to have to respond, my thoughts are with you because I can't go that day. But my thoughts will be with them, and I hope that they know that. Whatever path you have taken to come to this point, wherever you are going next, know that you are here now. Look around you. These are the people who are here now, too. And yeah, hi. I know you're here, too. Being present with one another is a gift. May you be both giving and receiving in this moment, in this precious moment of right now. Giving up your baggage for just one moment. Putting down your burdens. Looking at your feet. Feeling the gravity and say, I'm here. I know where I am. Thank you. Our closing hymn is a little more standard one for which there should be no confusion in how to follow along. It's number 86, Blessed Spirit of My Life. The words are on the screen. As I extinguish the chalice, I have the benediction words of John O'Donohue. May you awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. May you have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. May you respond to the call of your gift and find the courage to follow its path. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame and anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of soul. And may you take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. May you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder. Blessed be all of you.